One of the things that kind of comes through here is it would almost be better if things were more boring and there was less eyeballs on it. But I mean, the challenge to that, and I think it's a notable one, and it can't be entirely dismissed, is then how do you get momentum? How do you get interest at all? You know, one of the things that I've talked about in the past is uh, if, especially the enterprise executive who has to sign off on your drone program, they're not going to be as knowledgeable about aerospace. They're probably not going to care. They're going to want those answers answered for them before they even get there. How does that person even become aware if, there isn't Google Wing making headlines, if there, isn't, the great kind of American hope behind 3DR or Skydio now? How do you even get there without that attention?
I think that's a great question, and it's in a way kind of like a segue into what I wanted to mention. Let's ignore what Silicon Valley is doing, as difficult as it sounds, but let's just do that for a second. It feels so good. If we were to come to Europe, in Europe, VC investment is not that popular. It's not that common, meaning startups don't strive to get investment. They strive to get customers. Now, most of the companies, I don't have a number on top of my mind, but I would say at least 80% of the companies in Europe are supported by the European Commission in the form of public funded projects like Horizon 2020. Horizon 2020 has spent hundreds of millions in not hyping, but actually validating the technology. Now, through that, you've now developed, validated, and you have evidence of those validations over a period of 2 years or 3 years or whatever. Now, this is the push you need towards the marketing, which you would have spent in your seed round and Series A by doing ad campaigns and going to Mobile World Congress and different expos. But instead, you're now a part of a public project or public funded project where, well, you get to be a part of a consortium. You kind of understand what it takes to integrate your solution into an ecosystem, because no company is going to be by themselves. At the end of the day, they need to work with other companies. So I think that's a great approach to generate momentum. To say that my company is a part of a Horizon 2020 project supported by the European Commission, and here are the use cases we are targeting. And these are the KPIs that we have committed to deliver. And we will measure these KPIs and prove the capabilities by the end of the project. And this is an investment coming into the company, but except it's not for equity. The companies are not under pressure to actually find customers. The companies are not under pressure to dilute their stock or find more shareholders or whatever. Right? Mm. So that's a great approach. And I really want to shout out and say AFWorks and the US Air Force is doing a phenomenal job in doing exactly this, in implementing this model by funding many of these companies that's striving to get investment and giving them kind of like a lifeline, throw them, kind of like a lifeboat, saying, okay, here's a chance for you to prove your technology. We're going to fund your project and we're going to give you a use case and prove your technology. So, but that's military. So we have to kind of like think about how can this be kind of translated for civilian applications. That's a different discussion in itself. But the model that's being followed here in Europe is an excellent way to promote companies, support them. But from there, it's up to the companies to see how they utilize this push, because the push needs to be converted into some kind of traction to get revenue. So many companies in Europe, halfway through the Horizon 2020 project, they would have actually signed contracts with potential customers because the technology is already being proven. The customers are happy to see results along the way, and European Commission is paying for it. So there you go.